Good morning. Now, the last chapter of our syllabus, Fourier series. Fourier series. It is used at many places for various applications in frequency domains as well as in time domains. The first article is about Introduction to Periodic Functions. First article, Introduction to Periodic Functions. You are familiar with periodic functions. A function which repeats its values after certain interval of time. A function which repeats its values after certain interval of time. That function is known as periodic function. For example, you perform the experiment of simple pendulum. You observe the oscillations of simple pendulum. You know that oscillations of simple pendulum are periodic. The bob is moving back and forth, making the oscillations. Okay, these oscillations are periodic in nature. The period is measured from this extreme back to the same extreme. That function is known as periodic function. We are having many functions which are periodic in nature. The trigonometric functions are also periodic in nature. To express the periodic functions, we may use series representation for these periodic functions. In general, let me consider Taylor series. I want to use this Taylor series for series representation of periodic functions. In general, if we have a function f of x, in general, if we have a function f of x, and if it is continuous function of x, f of x is continuous function of x, then this continuous function f of x can be represented using Taylor series, and this series representation, Taylor series representation of this periodic function is we have a continuous function f of x. F of x is continuous function of x. Then this function f of x can be represented in the form of series using Taylor series approximation. If we apply Taylor series to continuous function f of x, the function f of x in Taylor series form may be written this way: f of a plus h f dash of a plus h square divided by factorial 2 f double dash of a plus h cube divided by factorial 3 f triple dash of a plus so on. This can be continued to large number of terms, where this h is given by x minus a. This h is given by x minus a. This is Taylor series representation of a continuous function f of x given by this equation. Let me write this as equation number 1, where h is equal to x minus a. Now, e to the power x is also periodic function. It is a periodic function. It is also periodic function. We have these different periodic functions. Let us express these periodic functions in the form of series. See these functions. Observe this, just 1 minute. So what you see, e to the power x is a periodic function. It is represented again using Taylor series approximation, which is given by 1 plus x square divided by factorial 2 plus x cube divided by factorial 3 plus x to the power 4 divided by factorial 4 plus so on. It can be continued to large number of terms, equation number 2. Then come to sin x. It is odd periodic function represented in Taylor series form as x minus x cube divided by factorial 3 plus x to the power 5 divided by factorial 5 minus x to the power 7 divided by 7 factorial plus x to the power 9 divided by 9 factorial minus x to the power 11 divided by 11 factorial plus dash dash so on, can be continued till large number of terms, equation number 3. Cos x. It is even periodic function represented as 1 minus x square divided by factorial 2 plus x to the power 4 divided by factorial 4 minus x to the power 6 divided by factorial 6 plus x to the power 8 divided by factorial 8 minus x to the power 10 divided by factorial 10 plus so on, can be continued to large number of terms, equation number 4. Log 1 plus x. It can be represented using Taylor series as 1 minus x plus x square divided by 2 minus x cube by 3 plus x to the power 4 by 4 minus x to the power 5 by 5 plus, can be continued till large number of terms. Okay. So these are the periodic functions. Here I have, for simplicity, I have taken very few periodic functions. Like sine, cos, you can go for tan, cot, sec, cosec and so on. All these are periodic functions. Periodic functions are represented here using Taylor series approximation. Taylor series is used for series representation of these periodic functions. Whenever we use Taylor series, the function under consideration should be continuous. Taylor series is only used for series representation of continuous functions. Now, this series can be continued up to infinity, this series can be continued up to infinity, this can be continued up to infinity, this can be continued up to infinity. Depending on the values of x in these series and the required accuracy, every series is truncated, terminated after required number of terms. Depending on the values of x in these series and the required accuracy of the given function, every series is truncated, every series is terminated after required number of terms. And if the function is not continuous function, if the function is not continuous periodic function, Taylor series cannot be used for representation of the discontinuous functions. Taylor series can be used for representation of only continuous functions. If we have discontinuous functions cannot be represented using Taylor series. This is introduction about the periodic functions. Here we are giving more stress on the periodic functions like sin x and cos x. Here we are giving more stress on the periodic functions like sin x and cos x, because when we talk of Fourier series representation of any given function, that Fourier series representation will involve sine and cosine series, that is sine and cos series, and therefore I am giving more stress on the sine function and cos function. This is periodic function, this is also periodic function. Sine function is of a period 2 pi. Cos function is also of a period 2 pi, because the same value is repeated after a period of 2 pi radians, and therefore sine function and cos function, actually all trigonometric functions, are periodic in nature with period 2 pi. This is brief idea about introduction of periodic functions. After having brief idea about introduction of periodic functions, let us go to the next article, definition of Fourier series. Second article from this chapter, definition of Fourier series. I have shown Taylor series a representation of various periodic functions, because I considered these periodic functions as continuous functions. If we have discontinuous functions, then Taylor series representation cannot be used for series representation of discontinuous functions. If we have some discontinuous function with finite magnitude of discontinuity and finite number of discontinuities, we may use Fourier series for representation of such discontinuous functions. Taylor series representation cannot be used for such discontinuous functions. Fourier series not only used for representation of discontinuous functions, but it can also be used for representation of continuous functions. What should be definition of Fourier series? Definition of Fourier series is, it is the representation of a function f of x in the form of sine and cosine series. If we have certain function f of x, this function f of x may be continuous function, this function f of x may be discontinuous function with finite number of discontinuities and finite magnitude of discontinuities. Then we can use Fourier series for representation of this function f of x. This function f of x can be represented in terms of Fourier series in the form of series of sines and cosines, and so the representation of a function f of x in the form of series of sines and cosines is known as Fourier series representation of the function f of x. The representation of a function f of x in the form of sine and cosine series is known as Fourier series representation of the function f of x. This is the definition of Fourier series. Mathematical definition of Fourier series is this: if f of x is a given function, periodic in nature, it may be continuous function or it may be discontinuous function with finite number of discontinuities and finite magnitude of the discontinuity. Then this function f of x can be represented mathematically this way. If f of x is a function, it may be continuous function or it may be discontinuous function. If it is discontinuous, it should have finite number of discontinuities and finite magnitude of the discontinuity. Then this function f of x can be represented in the form of this series. What this series has? It has a constant term a0, cosine term cos nx with coefficient an, sine term sin nx with coefficient bn. How many such cosine terms may be there? N is equal to 1 to infinity. This series may have infinite number of cosine terms. It may have infinite number of sine terms. If any function f of x is represented in this form, then this representation of the function f of x is known as Fourier series representation of the function f of x. If a function f of x is represented in this way in the form of equation 1, it is known as Fourier series representation of the function f of x. The conditions I told for f of x which can be represented using Fourier series when it is discontinuous. What these conditions? These conditions are: the discontinuities should be finite in number, magnitude of discontinuities should be also finite. These conditions are sufficient conditions for the function to be represented using Fourier series. In practice, in nature, we have variety of functions. You may be asked to represent any function using Fourier series. You may be asked to represent a function in the form of Fourier series. Whenever you are given certain function and asked to represent that function in the form of Fourier series, you are needed to find a0, an, bn. You are needed to find values of a0, an, bn. This a0, an and bn are known as coefficients of Fourier series. a0, an, bn are known as coefficients of Fourier series. It means that if you are asked to represent any function f of x in the form of Fourier series, you need to evaluate the values of the coefficients a0, an, bn. Once you evaluate the values of the coefficients a0, an, bn, the given function f of x can be represented in the form of a Fourier series such as shown in equation 1. There are different ways of evaluating the coefficients a0, an and bn. The simplest way of evaluation of the coefficients a0, an, bn of Fourier series is using orthogonality conditions of sine and cosine functions. Simplest way of evaluating coefficients a0, an and bn is by using orthogonality conditions of sine and cosine functions. Orthogonality conditions. If you remember these orthogonality conditions, with the help of these orthogonality conditions, we can evaluate the coefficients a0, an and bn. And the orthogonality conditions are, let me write these conditions one by one. Integration over 0 to 2 pi sin mx into sin nx dx is equal to pi delta mn when m is not equal to 0, when m is equal to 0, equation number 2. The other orthogonality condition, integration over 0 to 2 pi cos mx into cos nx dx is equal to pi delta mn 2 pi delta mn, m is not equal to 0, m is equal to 0, equation number 3. And the last orthogonality property is sin nx into cos nx dx is equal to 0 for all values of m and n, equation number 4. Evaluation of the values of coefficients of Fourier series a0, an, bn will be very easy and simple if you make use of orthogonality conditions of sine and cosine functions. See, this is what is this orthogonality condition for sine function. Integration over 0 to 2 pi sin mx sin nx dx is equal to pi delta mn. Mn is the suffix when m is not 0, and this is equal to 0 when m is 0. This delta mn is known as Kronecker delta. This delta mn is known as Kronecker delta. Its value will be equal to 1 if m is equal to n. Okay. So, value of this integration will be pi delta mn is if m is not equal to 0, this is equal to 0 if m is equal to 0. The first orthogonality condition for sine function. Then Come to second orthogonality condition. Integration of 0 to 2 pi cos mx into sin nx into dx is pi delta mn for m is not equal to 0, 2 pi delta mn for m is equal to 0. Again, delta mn is the Kronecker delta function. Its value will be equal to 1 if m is equal to n. So, it will have two results depending on value of m. If m is not 0, result of this integration will be pi into delta mn. If m is 0, result of this integration will be 2 pi delta mn. The third orthogonality condition is integration from 0 to 2 pi, integration within the limits 0 to 2 pi sin mx into cos nx dx is equal to 0 for all values of m and n. So, if we remember well these three orthogonality conditions and this general equation for Fourier series representation, we can express any function in the form of Fourier series. So, if we have a function f of x, representation of function f of x in the form of series of sines and cosines is known as Fourier series representation. This is the definition of Fourier series. It's so simple. Hope you got it. Thank you.